The ability of banks to grant loans relies on the availability and sharing of both objective and subjective information among the decision makers involved. Delegation, understood as the contract that authorizes a bank employee to make decisions on its behalf, thus plays a key role in the bank's financial commitments and, more broadly, in the quality of its loan portfolio. The advisor, who is in direct contact with the client, is in principle the best positioned to gather decision-making information. However, part of this information remains difficult to transmit due to its informal and subjective nature. The ability to fully leverage this information will only be possible by increasing the advisor's decision-making power. Such delegation, however, increases the risks of informational manipulation or even default by the advisor, thereby exposing the bank to additional risks. This reveals one of the paradoxes of banking decisions. On the one hand, reducing delegation also reduces the quality of information considered in decision-making. On the other hand, increasing delegation heightens exposure to agency risk. To resolve this dilemma, a delegation grid or delegation scheme identifies the powers of the participants based on the profiles and requests of the debtors. Signing authority is delegated step by step, generally according to the hierarchical level. The delegate thus inherits the authority of the higher level. However, there are limits defined within the bank's credit policy in terms of financing amount and risk exposure. When the financing exceeds the limits of the advisor or branch manager, it is escalated to the next level of delegation, which may be sector-based or regional. In addition to business sectors, the bank then bases its decision on internal and external ratings such as COFAS, Banque de France, BALD, and the total gross outstanding amount. Each rating level is associated with a specific amount and a level of centralization in the decision-making process. It is also possible for other criteria to come into play, such as in the case of an entrepreneur who has already experienced bankruptcy. If the bank's exposure is high due to a downgraded rating or a large outstanding amount, there will be a counter-analysis by the Risk and Permanent Control Department and a review by the Credit Committee. The strong structuring of delegation by mobilizing procedures, a hierarchy, scoring solutions and workflows makes it possible to delegate larger financing amounts and bring the decision-making process closer to those requesting funding. In this way, the bank seeks to reduce its risk and harmonize the conclusions reached by its advisors.